Hello. I figure I should upload a video of what my guitar looks like. I did a hangout with a friend of mine, and my Wi-Fi kind of made my end of the video look choppy, and so yeah, figure I could upload a video and show different views and what's on my guitar, and yeah. So anyway, it is how it looked at the US Festival in 1983, and I guess most people would associate that with just the neck, specifically the headstock, and but there are subtle details here and there that are different from what most people do on their replicas, which most people base it off of how it currently looks, which has a Strat headstock. Mine doesn't, but mine still has the little jewel there. Now, most people do it and it leaves, after it came off Ed's, it left behind a white dot. What else is different? Oh, the tape. Just how it looked at the show. A little dirty, I need to replace it. I have some 1984 picks, which are the same design Ed used at the show, and I will be sticking those on there whenever I get them in the mail. The single pickup is it's right, but the material is very hit or miss, and mine is pretty dark. Like, looking at it here, it doesn't really look red. Ed's is more of an orangey color, so I'm getting a new one to correct that. My Floyd Rose. It is a special. I did swap out the brass tuners. The bar, you can see it's very straight. If you look at a standard, if you just look at a bar that comes on your guitar, it's has more of a bend. But I stuck it, well, actually I stuck it on the floor and stepped on it to get it to match the angle Ed's has been at. I don't know if he still does that with his bars or not. I think actually the old bars were actually straight. Obviously I have the goop, this weird Dunlop strap lock button. It's there, a 71/4. Mine should actually have another screw here, but I haven't gotten around to sticking one in. Ed's has a snapped off screw post underneath, you can see, and well, I wasn't going to try to snap one off, so I stuck a nail in there, kind of tried to dirty it up, and so it at least looks like there's, a screw snapped off underneath. There's a cigarette burn there. I did that with a soldering iron and a wood burner. This area should be more yellow. Couldn't figure out how to do it convincingly. Another difference between mine and current day is there's another burn that comes off here, but that happens sometime between 83 and 85. It's basically the same. I have a Duncan 78 custom shop pickup in there. I didn't relic it. I ordered it reliced. They sent me a brand new one. So I just haven't had the balls to rust and tear mine apart. What else? Oh, the control switch. It's a 70s. It's vintage. that brownish red color wafer is a big difference between how they are made now and yeah. So I think Ed's is from the 60s, 3-way, mine's a 5-way, and it was still a good amount of money, but it's close enough. I don't think there's a visual difference between the 3 and the 5, but then again, I could be wrong. The wire knot is pretty close to how it should look. It's very difficult to get it the same. I mean, you know, it's confusing. There's multiple wires. They are not the same wires as from here. These are different gauge, smaller. Okay. You know, got all the wear. Oh, on the front, one of the details I didn't really get all over was here on the real one. It people call it fogging, where the red pigment has come out of the red paint and it makes it look kind of pink and it fades. That's due to the sweat and, you know, just usage for so long, and it's not easy. You can't replicate that easily without it looking, in my eye, wrong or fake. So I skipped that. And then the back, skunk stripe. Another difference between this and how it is now, broken reflector wasn't broken yet. The reason it was broken, if you know anything about the 5150 guitar, specifically in 1984, he had a tray table, and he would fold it out and play it kind of like a piano. And there's no photos to support this, but if you look at the back of the real one, there are holes all over, and they match where the 5150 had the tray table mounted. So it's basically believed that he had to break the reflector to get that to fit. So I didn't do that because it didn't happen yet. I still need a brass block. Sorry if my camera is shaky. Kind of just woke up. That fogging I talked about on the front, that should be here, and, you know, it's just, I wasn't comfortable with doing it and making it look bad. The correct reflectors, something Fender did not get right. Yeah. Black piece of tape that's still on there from, I think it's on there in 79, hasn't come off since. A Schaller strap lock. And in 82 and 83, Ed had the Dunlop. Come on. The Dunlop, the Schaller, and you can see here, the screw broken off, and it was going to be an eyelet. And, well, it kind of snapped. So, which is funny because now on the current day version, there's one snapped off in there. So, I mean, it's, you know, it's cool, but it's not correct. You can kind of see that there's a big chip outline because when that snapped off, it caused wood to pull up, but I glued it down. This side is the side that is very hard to find photos of the real one. And specifically this right here. The trick, I think, in making a convincing replica is there's a lot of wear that happens before the red. And it's not really caused by touring. If you look at the photos of it being used when it's still black and white, it wasn't really that beat up. But I don't know what Ed was doing, if he was trying to sand down the finish and said fuck it and just striped it. But there's wear that really, like, you know, all this wood. I don't know how that would show up otherwise. Well, maybe. In 78 he did have a chain strap, and it's believed that kind of rubbed, but I don't really see any photos of that like that in 78, so I don't know. Got all the holes down here, another shower, an eyelet. That's how it looked during the Starfleet sessions. At the US Festival, I think that's right, might have been a Dunlop instead of an eyelet, but I already had the holes drilled for the wider screw of the eyelet, so I was kind of stuck. During the jump video, he used an eyelet. I don't know if this is still there or not, but in 1985, in a centerfold for Guitar World, that was there, and you couldn't see the eyelet. So, I guess it's kind of like a mashup. If you look at the bottom again, there's 3 main holes, and then there's 4. You can't. He had a Les Paul jack plate in the 79 there, and he held on a rope strap with it. So that's where those 4 holes come from. And same with up here, he had another one. And at one point there was a shallower. Let me see if I can do this. At one point there was a shallower strap lock here. Man, I'm shaking like a mofo. But yeah. One thing that's a lot of people either do or don't know about is that it's ring wear. It was showing up in 78, not as bad, but you can see it in 79. People call it ring wear, but he didn't get married until 81, I believe, so he didn't. I don't think he had a ring on to cause that. I don't know what it's caused from, if that's. I mean, that's just what people call it, because it would make sense now. You know, don't have my wedding ring on, but I guess that's just why people call it that. The neck is bird's eye. Got it from Musicraft. Schaller tuners. The current version has Godot crowns. That's one reason I did this version, because those are very hard to get. I wasn't going to pay a few $100s for tuners. And yeah, I think the only differences or things on here I did but do not like are mainly this torn black stripe. The template I went off of it showed some of the bottom, and so threw my eye off. This should come down closer to the edge, but you know, I kind of sprayed it and was stuck with it, so I faked the wear up a little more to try to make it look like it's not so far up. I don't know what else to say. The seagulls. My camera focuses. You can see there's all these miscuts, and it's because Ed cut it on the body and his knife slipped, so you know, yeah. The pickup route's dirty, all that, not as rusty as the Fender version, which is very misleading. Specifically the control switch. A lot of people like to rust that way too much, and it just looks wrong to my eyes. Yeah, it weighs about 9.3 pounds. That plate, gotta have that, but there's only like one guy who makes them, and for $30, he has the same machine Fender used to use, so if you want the stamp on it to look right, I mean, you're pretty much gonna have to go to that guy. Yeah. It's showing up a little pink looking, but I'm sure that's just because red seems to act so weird with the camera. But yeah, it's Duplicolor Super Red 2, Wimbledon White, and Universal Black. All Duplicolor colors, automotive paint. A lot of people that build these know that, or don't necessarily know, but that's just the color scheme they usually go with. I guess that red is the closest you can get. Ed used a Schwinn bicycle paint, which, you know, can't buy that anymore. That I don't believe anybody makes, or I don't believe Schwinn makes it anymore. I know there are people who make cans of the Schwinn colors, but I figured I would stick with what people know and use. Yeah. Ed's trim claw should be all the way up into the cavity. I was starting to strip out my screws, and I was like, nope. I have 2 springs. I'm sure somebody might be like, oh, Ed had 3. Well, yeah. He's used 2. He's used 3. Various setups. This is just preference for me. There's the chip in that reflector that was there. No blue paint. That didn't happen till later. Yeah. That's my guitar. I hope to make another one sometime. Not another one of these. It'll either be the 5150 or the black and white 78 version. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I think total cost is like $1,100. If I would have went with an original Floyd, that would have made the cost a little more. Same if I would have went with a real 60s switch. I paid $60 for a 70s switch, and I know a guy who bought the same one as Ed's, and he paid like $200, and I wasn't even going to do that. Musicraft neck. What else? I already said Duncan. I think this is just from Stuart McDonald. Got this whole package online. The pickguard, the knob, the 500K pot. A lot of people like to shield the inside of the cavity. I'm not going to take this off, but I didn't, because I just felt like that's something Ed probably didn't do, at least. I don't know. I guess it's more, I just didn't want to do it. Because there's no photos of the inside to really show what it was like, or what it is like. Oh, the body. I got the body from a friend, and he makes more than just Frank bodies. He makes a bunch of bodies, but a lot of his work seems to be Van Halen related. And his name is Christopher Locke. I think his website is down, but you can look him up on Facebook. His logo is under the neck, so I can't really show you that, but yeah. I think it's slightly more accurate than the Musicraft body and the K&E, from what I've heard from other people who have bought those. But yeah, there's a lot. Let me sit down. There's a lot you can't really see there. All these scratches in the black. And that's like that in the real one. Camera there. It's hard to to see in photos. It's, you know, it's hard to, there's some photos that show that well. And it's just one of those small details that nobody's going to see, but makes it look all the better. My paint, I used a whole can, and most people don't. They finish before they use a can. I don't know if it was because of the humidity or what, but I went through a full can. It's still very transparent, you know. Up here, I think it looks better, but on the real one, it's heavier down here than it is up there. But I mean, I'm fine with it. I wasn't gonna order another can online because I couldn't find it locally. So I was like, you know, good enough for me. Oh, it's hard to see, but right, where's my finger? Here. On the edge of this route, there's a piece of tape. And Ed's also has that. And it was never pulled off. So you gotta have that, I mean, obviously. Yeah. Pretty cool. This is why I got into the band, and the guitar was why. So it's, after 8 years, it's pretty cool to actually have one, and I'm very happy with it. I think it's very, very accurate. There are things that are not so much, but generally it's glare. It's very good to me anyway. It serves what I wanted to achieve, and I'm gonna replace this tape, but under the tape you can see, you know, another screw hole from the pickguard, some wear. Can't forget that cut on the pickguard. Various screw holes. Yep, there she is.